in a sort of growth-based economic scenario, which is the one that we seem to be fairly wedded to, I'm not sure that one thinks about balance. You don't write a business plan around balance. And I think that there's a much more, design has sort of perpetrated the lopsided model in favour of profit and speed and accessibility of the product.
The industries that I've worked in, which include the media and telecoms and product development, are very, very poor in terms of balance. I think there's very little consideration given to the impact of what people produce on the world and vice versa. I think the focus for most people is about profit or efficiency.
There is a tension between the short term and the long term, and society today values and rewards short term, whether it is the financial markets or whether it is ourselves, sometimes taking decisions that satisfy us on the short term, but sometimes against our health, sometimes against our well-being. So we need to, this is an issue of how can we shift mindsets toward gaining sustainable longer-term benefits.
Sustainability is a buzzword. People want to think they care about the environment, but in the end we all need to keep our jobs. And the drive is to create objects that will sell or services that will sell. And every new creation consumes resources. And what I don't see enough of is undesigning and taking away the need to consume anything at all. I mean, we always are driving towards consuming less, but then are you just driving consumers to purchase more objects that consume fewer resources?
Very few people think of the bigger picture, and the systems and structures and relationships we have in place in business and in organisations do not lend themselves to supporting a balanced approach.
Design plays a role in promoting things that have no value, but it also plays a role in valuing things that are currently not being promoted.
And I don't think something's in balance like a cell phone or an iPhone where the materials used to manufacture the inside of it, mined from Africa, create political and social unrest in that country. That's not balance.
I think we become inflated in our expectations and ambitions to the extent that we ignore our common ground, the common ground we have with someone who drives a taxi or cleans a street.
That we are in a society which is take, make, waste. The business model for many products are about taking raw materials from the earth, making things and just wasting them. This is going to shift toward closed loop economy.
Whole sustainability field and this corporate social responsibility leading to corporate responsibility leading to sustainability is a way for which companies that are profit maximizing to start to understand that actually they have broader societal responsibilities, and it's really, really important that they integrate that.
There's lots of stuff that balance evokes. It's that sense of agility and nimbleness and an ability to think quickly and be quick on your feet and have a sensory perception that is maximally open, and yet a readiness to work out the way to go through that.
The disposable society might just become a good thing, because you don't want to own the 40 different chemical elements in a mobile phone. You don't want to be responsible for those. Somebody else, and good businesses, will become responsible for those materials and pull them in a circular economy and deliver to you the service that you want.
Well, it is always the same thing. I always think that design is the solution. But in the meantime, I say design is not the solution at all. I mean, design is just a little part. So, but it's good to think in two ways at the same time, because if you think that the design is really a solution, you do the best way in your part. But you cannot go around saying that design is going to save the world, because it's not true at all.
This is one of the things that designers need to both learn, but something that they can enable is a broader systems thinking and a systems design, which is not easy, but incredibly important.
We haven't created a system or an understanding of a system that can replace the current one where people don't feel they're going to lose.
And I would argue, the blight of the polar bear, species extinction, so on, they are big problems, but to empathise with them is very, very difficult. Whereas to, as I say, to deal with issues on a local level that means something to you, that affect your life and affect your family and your community, I think is something which has greater intensity.
We can't say you've all got to live a lower standard of life, or we have to stop putting more humans on the planet. These are generally unacceptable to society, and society wants to change how it feels about these things. So we have to do more with less, and that means managing our molecules and atoms better.
When you're thinking only of you, your team and your organisation, you can't be balanced.
We have to stop thinking about structure and start thinking about what it is we're actually delivering. What are the effects and properties of the molecules and atoms that we're making or purifying that people are buying.
I think that we need to find balance in our own lives, which is not usually, at least here on the West Coast, is not terribly present in most people's work lives. We have these, we always have media and communications and interruptions in our lives now because we carry computers in our pockets.
The really exciting areas are in designing service models where people can purchase objects that have already been used, or they can repurpose objects. And certainly we need to learn a way to make money without creating new waste.